So why don't you tell us a little bit about what it was like to be single when you were living in New York City?
Well, I think I told you about living with my roommates in New York, with Noreen and Joanne and Alvin. And I told you that people had parties in their apartments and they'd invite, if one person knew one person, they'd say bring your roommates, because that's how you met people. We didn't go to bars, ever. Just girls, never. And so if someone had a party with their roommates, they'd say come with your roommates, and they'd say that to a lot of different people, so there'd be a lot of people there. And you'd meet new people that way. And then we had a junior Smith club in New York, and Alvin and Joanne and I had all gone to Smith, so we went to the junior, and Noreen came too. We went to the junior Smith club party, cocktail party, whatever it was, and Noreen, who was the one who wasn't from Smith, met a guy named John McNamara or something like that. He said, I'm having a party on Thursday, why don't you all come with your roommates? So we did, and this guy John was a house share mate of Stanley Green's in Bay Head, Long Island, Bay Head, New Jersey. So I met Stan that night, and Noreen was there too, and he invited me and Noreen to come down to Bay Head for the weekend. So he got us a room in a motel there, because he never would stay in the house with the guys. And we went down there on probably a Friday night, and Saturday was fine, and we had a good time at the beach and whatever. We were having probably a clam bake that night, and Stan got a call from Ronson, for whom he worked at that time, telling me he had to leave the next morning to go to Havana. They, I don't even remember what they imported, but he had to go there on business, and there was no two ways about it. He was always very embarrassed about that, but I didn't really care a whole lot. I hardly knew him, and it was fun at the beach, so he went off to Havana, and Noreen and I stayed for part of Sunday, and then we went home, and that's when I first started dating him. And he was a very good date in terms of, he took me to nice places, and we went to the theater, and he always liked to joke, and he would get his tickets from a scalper, his tickets for the theater. And when, I think it was when we went to see Gypsy, he went to the box office, picked up his seats, he was very excited. We were way up front. Only problem is, his was on the right side and mine was on the left side, so we were both in row 2, one on this side of the theater and one on the other. But he was a good date in terms of fun.
Yeah.
And I wasn't very interested still, but he was fun. And I don't know how long I dated him, for a little while, and he kind of felt like he wasn't getting anywhere. I didn't learn this till later, but he invited Noreen to meet him. I think they met for a drink somewhere, and she told him, you're being too nice to her. She doesn't like people that are too nice to her. So he decided that he wasn't going to see me for 3 months, and I thought, okay, that's okay, I'll survive. But then after the 3 months was over, and I went out with him, I kind of liked him, and that's when I started liking him. And I met him in June maybe of 1959. He was living with his mother because his father had died that year, and he had to come back from where he was working and living in St. Louis, and he came back and lived with his mother in Maplewood and was working at Ronson in Woodbridge, New Jersey. So in November of 1960, we were driving up to Boston to the Harvard-Yale game, where Mom and Dad also were, and that's when we got engaged, I guess, or decided we were going to get, maybe wasn't officially engaged, we decided we were going to get married.